Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 4 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we were talking to Maya and we are requested to go find a lawyer for her before 4 o'clock. Unfortunately for us, the only lawyer we could go and get is Grossberg. Why I say unfortunately, you'll find out in a minute, but first, she also gave us a memo to go get her phone. Right now, it's in the possession of Dick Gumshoe. So on that note, we might as well go back to our office and probably find Dick Gumshoe. Of course he'd be standing there. And wait, did he just mistake me for Larry Butts? Last time I checked, Phoenix Wright does not have a goatee, a propensity to yell, and more importantly, a propensity to get in trouble. Okay, that last part, that may be a stretch, considering the fact of, well, maybe 2 other games after this, but still. He's got the wrong name, and not only that, he completely forgot that Larry Butts was also proven not guilty, and that the person who tried to frame him was just recently put in jail. I can actually make any sort of joke, but to move things along, I would use Dick Gumshoe. Because there's no achievement to it. You'll just get a funny result. Suede Shoes. I really am tempted to call him Detective Suede Shoes, just to make him feel bad, but nah, he's actually a good guy. He's kind of on the klutzy side. And to be fair, he did call him Detective Gumshoe because I think in police slang, Dick is another word for gumshoe, or detective if you will. And actually, gumshoe is another word for detective. As I was about to say before I ruined the joke in part 3, Redundancy Department of Redundancy. But yeah, Gumshoe actually is a valuable ally, so don't take him too lightly. I mean, yes, he does screw up most of the time, but he is a actual good person. So we'll have to talk to him. But at the most part, after we talk to him, we're going to have to present that memo to him so that he'll give Mia back her phone. Or Maya back her phone. Sorry, Mia's dead. God damn it. Why do I keep forgetting that? Now then. We had to literally ask him for Mia's autopsy report. And he literally gave us the autopsy report, even though he said he wasn't going to do so. See what I mean by him being a screw-up sometimes? And her date is 10 days before my birthday. Well, I kind of am I'm very superstitious about that shit, you know. I kind of heard stories that if somebody dies, like, close to or on your birthday, bad shit tends to happen to you. I hope that's not true. Anyway, we're pretty much going to be in one of the fights of our lives as far as this trial is concerned, because Edgeworth happens to be the prosecutor over this case. And Edgeworth is definitely one of those guys who, 1, never lost a case, and 2, will go to great lengths to make sure that whoever committed this crime is going to go to jail. So we've got ourselves a fight on our hands if we are going after Maya to make sure that she doesn't go to jail. And of course, kind of described him as a guy who basically goes for the guilty verdict. But he's almost not wrong. I mean, he had, well, schooling to have him feel that way about a guilty verdict. But one of the things that I should say is Edgeworth is basically, well, also corrupt on the side, but at the same time, he's also the reason why Phoenix Wright went into trial and, well, went to lawyer school in the first place. So now that we're done talking with Gumshoe, let's go on ahead and present that memo so that we can get Maya's phone back. Because Maya's phone would be pretty much used for evidence. He almost gave her the phone. He almost gave him the phone. Well, you can tell it to him not so straight, and you can also tell it to him straight. Tell it to him straight, he'll mention something about personal and private details on her phone, which Gumshoe will probably actually catch on and say that all the numbers are pretty much legit. Unfortunately, Gumshoe doesn't know that a pre-recorded conversation is on the phone, which, by the way, would have been deleted if Gumshoe had not thought about it. And this is the conversation. Read this conversation, rehearse this conversation, because guess what? It's going to be coming in handy later on in this entire case. And like I said, it's best to go over the evidence, put it in your head, commit to memory. It's more like a pay attention, commit things to memory, or write it down, and you'll be fine. And then Rise from the Ashes comes and completely shits on that whole theory right there that I just made. I know y'all are sick and tired of me complaining about Rise from the Ashes, but goddamn is that case a clusterfuck. Seriously. And we still have 3 more cases, actually 2 more cases before we go to that case. Nonetheless, we're done here. However, there is one last thing we need to worry about. April May. And while you're asking me if I'm spoiling this, I'm not. He just gave the name. And more importantly, this game has been out since 2005, if I'm not mistaken, if not 2006. So, April May is a well-known character for one reason and one reason only. I'm pretty sure if you can't tell by her outfit, that's the reason. And you'll probably see in court. So I don't think we have any reason to be here. We could just move and move straight to Gatewater Hotel because we want to go to Grossberg's office. Make sure you go there first before anything else. But at the same time, go to Gatewater Hotel because you really do need to go there. There's a reason for that. Look in her drawer. Now then, you see this cute lady that's standing before you? That's April May. Now, she may be a flirtatious person, and yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have used her sprites and mini sprite animations for obvious reasons. Yes, she's very well endowed, and yes, they jiggle. But still, that's actually the only reason why everybody recognizes April May, because of that. Oh, that and one other thing. Her split personality. You'll see. Let's just, wait till she leaves. And in order for us to actually continue on through this, you will have to actually examine everything in the room. Now, I went there and examined the window, but of course, Upload Studio, of course, is going to do that. However, I actually had to edit things a little bit so that way it would actually be legit. But unfortunately, the editing looked like I skipped a frame or two. But that screwdriver is very suspicious. And also, she has a wine bottle with glasses for 2. Yeah, very suspicious. Oh, and by the way, here's April's split personality. She's getting real suspicious over the fact that I was going into the drawer with a screwdriver sticking out. She almost snapped. You almost saw her just snap just now. Her eye was twitching. She had a false smile and shit. Dear God. Cross-examining this woman is going to be terrible. But you have no choice but to talk to her. I mean, you can move on if you want to. Doesn't matter what question you ask her, she's not going to answer you with a straight face now that you done went into the drawer that she had the screwdriver in. Oh God, she is starting to snap. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had voice actors in this game and there would be a New York accent for her. Oh wait! There actually is the anime where she actually appears, and she doesn't have much of a Brooklyn accent. She's just a seductress until, that is, Phoenix tried to pry around in her apartment. And I'm pretty sure this case right here happens to be everybody's favorite to be animated. Specifically because of the real culprit, Wright. And I didn't spoil that. That was Capcom's doing at the beginning of this case, so I truly didn't spoil anything. And, April May is being very uncooperative. So we're gonna have to move on to Mr. Marvin Grossberg's office. He's not a doctor. He's a lawyer. Now then, if you probably haven't heard, Edgeworth would be one of the reasons why many defense attorneys would back away from Maya, and unfortunately, a state-given defense attorney would be trouble for Maya, especially since Edgeworth is on the case, and he's such a great prosecutor, despite his shady dealings. Speaking of shady dealings, Marvin Grossberg. And, yeah, about those shady dealings. You see that picture in the background? Yeah, that's part of the shady dealings. And while he may be uppity right now, you, tell him about Maya Fey, watch this man crack. Because you see, that picture was given to Marvin Grossberg because of the fact that, let's just say a certain person told him to not take the case and bribed him with that painting. You could tell by his demeanor. And he just literally shut down all discussion. Now, you could examine or you could talk to Mr. Grossberg. I mean, you could talk to Mr. Grossberg. He'll still tell you that he's not going to do it. However, there is one thing I gotta tell you about this place. You have only one of two chances to actually examine his desk. While now would not be the right time to examine his desk, you can still do so, and there would be a picture of a man. Remember to examine Grossberg's desk, because that picture is vital to winning this case. Oh, and it turns out Grossberg's not the only one that's been bribed. Every lawyer who wants to take up this case has been given some sort of trinket or some sort of bling to be told not to. Which means Maya will end up having, if nobody takes Maya's case, Maya will end up having a state defense, a state-picked defense lawyer, as she will instantly lose. And Marvin Grossberg used to be Mia's boss, so it's kind of disheartening that he would literally turn Maya away for a painting. And more importantly, we now finally learn about Mia's terrible past. Turns out, the only reason she became a lawyer was because of the fact that something bad happened. Marvin Grossberg knows, and he's not going to tell us, because of the fact that that painting is his pride and joy. And it's the only thing that's keeping him from doing anything honorable. Could you excuse me 1 second? Sorry about that. I had to take an important phone call. This one really was important. But we finished everything we need to finish from Grossberg. But as I was saying, again, if you want to check his desk, by all means do so. But after you talk to Grossberg, whether you talk to Grossberg or not, it all depends on the choice you made. So you might as well talk to him. I mean, it's no big deal. You're going to still end up being her lawyer unless you refuse. Then again, you'll be forced in a situation where you kind of have no choice. Unfortunately, the fact that Maya thought that Grossberg was trustworthy kinda hit her hard. So we can still talk to her for a little bit at least. Now here's where the tragic backstory begins. Because let's face it, Maya and Mia, they both went through some troubling times when they were young. Yeah, their father died for one, and another problem happened to involve their mother. You see, here's the thing. That backstory I'm referring to was an actual murder case. See, Maya has been telling us that she is a medium in training, and many of the women in the Korean village were trained as mediums to speak to the dead. So, unfortunately for us, or should I say for Maya, her mother happened to be involved in a case where a psychic medium was needed to find out who the real killer was. In other words, police actually had to use psychics to get the shortcut. Unfortunately, the ghost she actually channeled pointed to the wrong man. And when they did, she ended up being, well, exposed. And the person who did it went there and not only exposed the fact that the police used a medium, but also exposed the fact that the police went there and got the wrong man on, well, probable cause, which in turn got the poor guy acquitted with extreme prejudice, but his career was ruined, as well as his life. So therefore, her mother was permanently shamed. This incident, by the way, also affects the other members of the Fae Clan who will show up in Justice for All and Trials and Tribulation. So yeah, this horrible backstory spans 3 games. I'm not saying horrible as in, oh god, this backstory sucks. I mean horrible as in the fact that one man literally created like some of the worst demons to ever exist. Even though he's just as bad of a demon himself. And that man was Wright, by the way. He even gave it away that he gathers information sources, basically. And that's the guy who's also blackmailing Grossberg and not helping her, let alone every defense attorney in town. So in other words, Wright was the person who not only killed Mia, but also exposed her mom. That's why Mia came down to the hills, from the hills, and actually did what she did to become a lawyer. Oh, and by the way, you have a choice. Either you go home or defend Maya. You go home! That's an automatic game over. Defend Maya, and we'll continue on the case. So let's go on ahead and defend Maya. So yes, this whole entire incident was all made because of the fact of a jerkwad who was just collecting information to blackmail people and had a fictitious company name. Oh, and by the way, use I Can't Abandon You. And have a fictitious company name so that he won't be sniffed out. And the only reason why Phoenix is doing this is because he too was in the hot seat before. Someone blamed him for something he didn't do. And well, after he was, well, exonerated of all charges, he decided to become a lawyer so that he would defend the people who would be in his position. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Maya is going to be, well, our defendant and our client for this case. And unfortunately, Capcom will find it, well, an amusing thing to put this girl through hell and damnation for the next 5 games. Well, technically, no wait, no, let me rephrase that, 4 games. 4 games. She doesn't show up in Apollo Justice, she doesn't show up in any of the Ace Attorney investigations, and I don't think she shows up in Dual Destinies. She does, however, shows up in Spirit of Justice. But whatever the case, folks, we're gonna have to go back to Gatewater Hotel. Now that Maya is on the case, now that we're on the case for Maya to try to help her out, and we're the only attorney that was not bribed by Wright, we have to go back to Gatewater, and I just realized Gatewater, if you rearrange the word, god damn it, Capcom! Seriously! Ugh! I just realized what the name of the hotel was! Oh, God! I just realized what that hotel's name was. Watergate! Damn it, Capcom! Just damn it! And for those of you who don't know, Watergate is a hotel where wiretapping took place. Oh, by the way, here's the butler. that Butler actually plays an important role, literally, in Rise from the Ashes. In fact, it's this bellboy, by the way, that blows this entire case open, as well as Rise from the Ashes. Wow, just wow. I'm not trying to spoil stuff, but that's how unsubtle Capcom really is. And you want to know something else? I also realized Winston Payne's name too, 4 parts later. Dear God. It's a pun. Wince in pain. God damn it. Puns are a crime against humanity. And also, yes, he gave away the name Mr. White of Blue Corp. So now, we officially know exactly who that man is that killed Mia and ruined her family's name. So now we could go on ahead and steal whatever is in, or should I say, collect whatever is in the drawer for evidence. Yes, evidence. We are so not breaking and entering into somebody's apartment. So... this lie right here. I'll get to this woman's bottom. He can't even get the words right in his thoughts. But yes, we've got the wiretap that may help Maya, hopefully. Unfortunately, that's going to have to wait until day 2. And we'll start on that in part... Oh, sorry about that. That was my computer going off. Anyway, we'll start that in part 5 when we go to trial and hopefully try to get Maya the innocent verdict. Or not guilty, if you would say. This is RPMan 985. See you guys next time. Oh yeah, and April May will be there too.